Hey, we are back with another Chit Chat show. And this time, as you can see by the title, I've been poking the bear a little bit with Wolfie 6020. Wolfie got his ass spanked. Maybe a little bit over the top, but you know what it's like. You've got to poke the bear to actually get something done in this industry. I'm going to call it an industry because that's essentially what it feels like. It feels like, you have to try and get these guys to engage with you, and when they don't, it's very, very difficult. But the good thing is we've had a little bit of back and forth between Rude Earther and Wolfie, and because they're both passionate about optics, not optics, but gyroscopes and the like, and electronics and stuff, it was quite the back and forth between them. So I'm not going to claim anyone's an expert in any of this, but there is definitely some interesting discussions that has gone on, and I asked Rude if he would come in this evening, and he's obliged, luckily enough. And are you there, Rude Earther? Are you there?
This is a disclaimer. I am no expert.
Listen. I don't like you said before. Nobody's really an expert in any of this. I mean, that's the one thing that we are sort of like finding out. We learn as we go along, and part of this whole experience has been a learning curve in a lot of different things. And one of the things that we haven't really got to grips with is gyroscopes. I mean, to be honest, the arguments that flat earthers against globe earthers have had about gyroscopes, it's been the last 5-10 years it's been going on. But you've got some interesting concepts and interesting ideas that you may be able to figure out some conclusive results one way or the other. And I think like this back and forth that you've had with Wolfie has, it's gained some traction, because Wolfie, he had to back away from it in the end. He had to say, look,
he just
taking
sort of
a step back
from
this.
Like I have said before, that I do respect the guy. He's an intelligent guy, and he's honest about what he does and that, because he puts his face up, to be fair, and I respect that. Do you know what I mean? With anyone who not the face, but just sort of puts the self out there, rather than just has this one subscriber troll account where they just repeat everything over and over again. And we had this discussion and we bashed it out, and it went on. He kept making this point about a certain part of the technology and switching it off and stuff like that. And basically what I said is, if you switch that certain part of the technology off, essentially you're switching it off. You're switching off the technology, so there's no point in running any of the tests or anything. And I said to verify, anything I'm saying about it can be what I'm saying is, this unit, you calibrate it once, and then it just holds that position, and it gives you readings in your 3D. Any movement you do in 3D, it'll give you a readout, and it'll give you it as a visual on the artificial horizon, or a display as the movement through the accelerometers and the gyroscope and the magnometer and stuff like that. So basically, what I said, these units aren't made like they say a plane stabilization unit is made, because that apparently recalibrates, or it would have to sort of remember its connection directly to the center of mass, whereas this one doesn't. It takes readings, it reads motion from within itself in parallel lines, 90 degrees. I explained it a bit last time, and it's all on the channel there if anyone wants to have a look at that. But I've got a little sort of diagram what I can drop into the chat here somewhere. I've got a couple of things about the technology. I've just ordered a new little piece of kit called an Ardu pilot, and it gives you a totally better readout. There's a little reading on the side, and it actually records the shape of the surface you're flying over, which will be interesting. It records your line of flight.
Right. Well, what I've done is I've just popped your latest video up. So that was on the 6th of March. It's only a couple of minute video, and it's where you've got the vector and the flashing light. And that's where Wolfie was the last. You and him had this last back and forth. Can you tell us what the conclusion was? Because this is a whole series of videos that you've put out, one after the other. what's the what was his
Well,
conclusion?
when I explained to him that this Ardu board, basically, we'll get to the point. It can be offset 90 degrees from this. You've laid a board flat on the ground. You can offset that. It thinks down is down, yeah, but you can offset it 90 degrees so it thinks down is to the left, and it still functions, recording all the movements as it goes, like it is, you know, locked in space or rigid in space, if you want to say, like a gyroscope. And he couldn't deny that. So he said he's going to leave it at that. You know, he knows full well he can't deny it. It's all over the internet. All the information's there. You know, it's not hard. It's not hard to find if you look into it. I think what it is they gave this technology out just quietly and just put it out. They started it in game controllers, phones, and stuff like that. And then, you know, it just came out without anyone saying what it actually is. It is a gyroscope. You know, if it's got certain technological aspects to it, it functions as a proper gyroscope. They call them a MEMS gyroscope. It's not. Don't hide the fact, you know, they don't say. And these things, it's just a parameter to this unit. Once you give it a direction, it sticks in that direction. It still functions as it should. It holds rigid in space. It tells you when you moved from that position in whatever angle. So, and with this, like I say, only you calibrate it once. With a plane, they say it's recalibrating to 90 degrees all the time, you know, to sort of follow the curvature. It has to, otherwise the whole argument's gone.
Okay, so you had this back and forth with him. Now, I assume that he got in touch with your channel rather than you got in touch with him, you know, and sort of like he descended on you.
No, right, what it was, there's loads of people online who go on about these EQ mounts and stuff like that, and the way it works is it works on assumption once the thing you're viewing goes out of your visual limit anyway, and the telescope follows a circle. That's all it does, like I said, and it points at the ground. And once it points at the ground, people assume that these things are going under the feet, and that's it. But they're just going further away in that circle, and it's just the angle and the way our eyes work. They just go out of sight. And this thing just tracks, because we've observed these things going round so long, we know they just go round in a circle round one point in the middle. And that's all that telescope stand does. It goes round, and these people are claiming like it's got superpowers. It hasn't. And it started with that, and they said, you know, the EQ mount proves the shape of the Earth because it can follow things in a circle. And I just dropped a silly comment and said, look, the EQ mount can follow anything. You can take it to the beach. It's got 3 axes of movement, and you can use it to track anything. And they all went absolutely bonkers. They were like, nah, that got 3 axes of movement, you know, and all this type of shite. And it has, you know, it's got its altitude, and then it's got its right ascension, declination, and then its right ascension on top, which is essentially just three circles. Do you know what I mean? Or, well, the bottom one, the altitude's like 180, I think it is, off the top of my head. But yeah, it can move in 3 axes. All right, the bottom one locks when you're viewing the circle of stars, but it's got the capabilities of moving 3 axes, and they went mental. So I made a little video, and then I noticed a video on there about drones, and I thought, aye, this is something I like. And I thought, this is just it's not the right claim. And then I started thinking about it, and I, like, when I think about something, you know, just like a bulldog, I don't let go. Just keep thinking and sat there, and I just, you know, it just clicked. Like, these things, they calibrate once. That's it. 90 degrees parallel from the center of the unit.
That was interesting. I'm showing you pushing it over the supposed curve, and you can see that that it's recording this change.
If he explains to you there, that unit at the minute, when that little box is flat with the bubble level perfectly level to so-called gravity, yeah, on the screen it's displaying offset because I've calibrated it offset.
Right, okay, yeah,
but it's still functioning how it should, but it just thinks that it's offset when it is parallel to G, supposedly, yeah? So that tells you there, right there, that the parameters come from within inside the box. It's not connected to the center of the so-called mass. It just has the parameter of down from within the box, and then it holds that parameter. If you move from there, if you deviate from there, it registers it. That's it. It's as simple as that.
That's pretty cool.
Otherwise, it wouldn't. See that unit there?
Yeah.
I have that in my that's like my biggest model I have, and I've got a little. It's like a robot thing. That's got a pan and tilt on it, and basically you lock it to the plane, and it's on the floor next to you as you fly away, and the antenna follows the plane as it's flying around. So you have a very narrow beam of frequency, so you get more range, but you don't ever lose your plane because the antenna follows it around, if you like a little robot.
So what's the top and bottom of this? I mean, you've got Wolfie's got his. I mean, what's his position here? Does he actually agree with you now?
The last thing I heard from Wolf is, I didn't hear nothing. He said he's not debate. He's had enough of this topic. The last thing he said to me is, "I'm going to go back to showing how flight plans destroy the flat Earth." And I said, "All right, mate, fair enough, whatever." And then one of his subs, he's been perfectly reasonable. This guy, he's not been like a troll sub, but he said, "Oh yeah, where's Wally's contacted me to make a new intro for one of Wolfie's videos. Should be interesting." And it's like, I thought, is this going to be a dig about me now? So, and that was the last thing sort of. And I just said, look, I've ordered my Ardu pilot and it's in the post right now. So. And then I posted a link to all the specs on it, and it tells you clearly there what you can do with it and how it works. I've got the specs here, I'll post them.
I find it interesting that, like you say, Wolfie's turned around and basically said, "I'm going to go back to doing my my maps," because that's his thing. That he thinks that he has flat Earth over a barrel with maps, right?
Yeah.
But what this is telling me,
I've got an interesting bit of a take on that as well, though, because I've looked up a bit of the old. I've used it a little bit of the old. Navigating via the longitude, latitude. I've had a little try of it, and it's not that difficult. And what I conclude really from the way I see it is that it's just all based around the convexity of your eye and the distortion that creates at the furthest limits of our vision. Do you understand? You don't get it close up. We just get peripheral vision, but at the furthest limits. And what I think is, when we're zooming in and all this with cameras, we are just zooming in to the end of that thing. Can't go any further. And that's why these things, if you calculate sort of the heights of stars and stuff like that without using the presupposed radius in the calculation, it comes down to thousands of miles instead of trillions and billions. And I just think that's the upper outer limits of where we can see to. All that shit is just a reflection in our bubble as it goes over, and that's why we can't discern anything from that. We're looking at a linear landscape, but when we start looking over distance, it starts distorting with with convexity of the lenses of our eyes. And when you look into how ships and everything, when they first started using sort of the grid system, or using Polaris and the degrees from it to navigate, that's when he first started drawing it up. It was all new to them, and he had to make these logs of where the sun supposedly should be at certain days, certain times, and it took years and years and years, to build this data up. And then eventually we sort of just got into the habit of using the best paths to get here, there, and everywhere, and then we built systems around that, and we don't really deviate from it. We never have. I think Amelia Earhart was the last real aeronautical explorer, and they topped her, didn't they? Got rid of her. Whatever they did.
So,
because they knew she was a feisty woman, mate. She wasn't going to let anyone shut her up, and they thought, she discovers some of this other land here, what we've not told anyone about, and goes blabbing about it. What we're going to do? Do you know what I mean? Everyone's listening to her. She's famous. She's done this flight and all that. So they thought, right, I'll tell you what, love, here you go. Here's permission, go this way. We'll tell you where to go now. And just, drill that hole in a petrol tank quick.
So
that problem solved.
We're also joined with Paige as well. Paige is here. She's been waiting patiently. How are you doing today, Paige?
Yeah, I'm awesome. Thanks, Randy.
Good stuff.
I have to say what Rude was saying about the way our eyes see, and that is exactly what they've done. They've switched the linear ground with the convex way we see. And once once you understand that, it's so brilliant what they've done.
Yeah, that's why.
Like,
do you know when ships
so
used to
simple.
navigate? Like, when you used to see them navigating, Paige. Have you ever seen it where they have like a little compass and they half circle it on the map as they go along,
Yep.
walking like a pair of legs?
Yep.
Well, that's basically because they take the measurement of the circling of the arc of the stars, yeah, and they can sort of foretell where they're going to be, certain angles, certain stars, obviously certain days, and that is how they used to do it all. And to be honest, yeah, the beginnings of aeronautical exploration, mate, yeah, that's how they did their things, and it's all based on the horizon being at your eye level and the degrees from the stars and the sun and the moon, and 180 from the center. Your eyes, your center of your eye, what are you looking at, being 90 degrees, to your right being 0, where the sun rises being 0 and where it ends being 180. I think that's the right way around, or the other way around, but that's basically what it's all based on, and then they mix that up and it gives us
they just tell you it's the opposite way around.
Ground, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's not. The ground
you see
is
in a linear fashion with a spherical ground. When you don't, it's a linear ground with a spherical vision.
That's it. And when you understand it simply, like, I think a lot of things can be explained simply, yeah, but when you look into the complexity of it, it's like the simple parts stretched beyond what anyone, this thing is here, but you can't see it. It's there. Here's a 3-mile long equation. What 18 scientists have worked 15 years.
They want to feel important. They want to feel like
you've
what
got
they
no
found
chance,
out
do you know
is
what I mean?
so complex that no one else can understand it. When in reality, it is as basic as, a second grader could understand this. And they don't like that. They don't like that normal people with not much education can understand these things. And they're like, hang on a minute, but I've spent my whole life doing these, maths equations that take 6 months to figure out. I've got to be right. I'm so much smarter than you. And it's like, well, no, sorry.
Could I try and bring it back onto the gyroscopes though, because I want to know what it is that you've had this back and forth with him. He's now backed off and he said, right, I'm going back to my maps. I've had enough of this, right? So basically, from where I'm coming from, that tells me that you sort of like won this argument, whatever you was arguing about. What's the top and bottom of that? Is it because when you do this test, this experiment, that one way or the other it's going to prove something?
Well, that's my conclusion, and I actually believe that in my heart, mate, because I work with this stuff. I not work with it, but it's my hobby. I've had it for years, I've used it for years, I know how it works. If you set it off wrong and you switch stability on your plane, you're going to hit the dirt, because your plane is not going to think it's stable. It's going to try and adjust, and it'll barrel roll you off or nose dive you, depending on which way you've offset it by accident. And that's why it has a capability, once you're in the air traveling, when a plane flies, it flies with slightly nose up, to keep, to stay on the cushion of the air. So what you basically do to get your plane, the stability mode working in the best possible way, is you take your plane out and you fly it, get it as level as possible using all the trims, which is like, a manual setting for all the control surfaces. So you set all them manually. Once you've got your best position, you then set your stable unit. You flick a switch a couple of times and it takes that reading. Your nose will be up, but your artificial horizon will be telling you the plane's dead level. And that is because to stay level, the plane has its nose up slightly. But what I'm saying is you have then, you've locked it off. You've locked that position off. So it understands that that's your level, not flat level. If you was to land and put a flat bubble level on it, it'd display like nose down then on the horizon. So
him backing away from this, he wants no more to do with it. I think that says everything, that you've essentially won that argument. But when
I said to him, listen, he is a reasonable guy, mate. Like, I don't want to make out like he's a divvy, because he's got his head screwed on, and I do believe he's a pilot, mate, and I've got no doubt in my mind. And he is quite a reasonable guy, mate. When we had our banter at the start, and then I think he sort of grew a little bit of respect for me, and I sort of grew a bit of respect for him as well, because he had a good banter, mate. He's got a set of balls on him and that. And you know, he is a decent guy, but when I told him about my theory about the stars and our eyes and stuff like that, he sort of conceded that point as well. But he said, you know, you've made a really good point. He goes, we just come to a different conclusion. And
Yeah.
that to me said a lot, you know, it rang a lot. And I said to him, you know what, I respect that, mate. I do. I respect you. I respect that you just saying that. That means a lot, you know, because normally people wouldn't say that type of thing to a flat earther. But, you know, we got a good banter going on, so he's all right. He's all right, Wolfie.
So when are you going to do the test? When's that being done? When can we look forward to seeing it?
So that'll probably be December, that when I go away or whatever. I'm gonna set the unit up in a little box. But like I say, I've ordered a slightly more advanced unit the other day in the post, and I've got my little laptop. I'm gonna take it. I went last night to try and do it, but trying to get it to stop sliding about on the front seats was like mission impossible, mate. It was like trying to nail diarrhea to the wall. So I'm going to take my wingman with me OGG, mate, when I can get him to frigging move off his pit. Get him to come with me and hold all my equipment. Right, I'm going to show, basically, visualise what this unit does. I've still got it offset. So, you know, the unit's been switched off for days now. Switched on and off, and it's still kept its position. That offset, it's like 10 or 12 degrees offset. And I'm going to take it out in my car, and I'm going to actually show it moving as I drive up and down hills and over bumps, and I'll show you exactly how sensitive it is. And what I'm going to do also, when I take it out, I'm going to have it level, obviously, when I leave, which will be probably facing down a hill. And when I finish, I'll face up the hill, and I'll show you all the actual angular change on the artificial horizon. But I'm waiting for this new unit now, I think, to come, because it's got a more detailed display, and I want to see how this it's supposed to draw a pattern of your actual movement on your journey. Sorry, I'm outside just having a cigarette, so I'm shivering a bit. It's freezing here, and I'm out in a t-shirt. Whoa, cat fight!
Oh, I heard that.
Did you hear that?
I did, yeah.
Got some vicious cats around here. I tell you now, they'll have your legs off.
Listen, we got a question from a guy called Heliocentric Suicide. So, if an RC plane flies at 8,000 feet, the artificial horizon does not, in capital letters, not show any drop. Ask Rude Earther about it. There are videos online showing this.
Well, what I'd say to that is I'm not even it wouldn't even have. It's basically just going to come on the plane as a gyro unit. I'm not even going to have GPS involved or anything. Once you plug it in and you just hold a position, it gives you the full readout from there. So we'll just see anyway. All the videos are there, and everyone can watch it themselves and make your own decision. Don't listen to these prophesizers and that. Don't listen to me, mate. Don't listen to anyone's bullshit. Go. All the information's there. Go and have a look. Don't just like root around for a next YouTube video. Go and look at shit. Go and look things up. Yeah. Go and have a look at guides and manuals, how to, educate yourself in reality a bit. And then, you can visualize. Go and look at Siemens manuals, pilot manuals. Familiarize yourself with these people and what they did and the history of it and how it occurred. The Wright brothers used models to frigging fly, not equations. It came from a love of modelling. As did boats, like we were saying the other night. Everything comes from the physical, and the equations come after it. And then the crazy equations come after that. when we get to the end of the physical stuff, we think, right, where to go now? Well, people are still asking questions. Right, time to make some shit up.
So I guess you're probably not going to have any more back and forth with him, I wouldn't have thought, until you actually do this actual plane test then.
Well, apparently he's lost interest now anyway, because he's done on the topic, obviously, because he knows what I'm saying's right. He knows full well. They use IMU gyros. Anyone can look up IMU gyroscope. Go and look it up. Get the diagrams, how they work and everything. It's not hard information to find. And you'll see. Look at my test. Look at what I've shown. I've shown they pick up the movement at 15 degrees an hour by using an electronic EQ mount. It's indisputable. I've showed it. You can do it. It shows it on the screen. And when I get this new unit, I'm going to show it again. Obviously not for 3 hours, because I'm busy now. But I'll do an hour's worth or an hour and a half's worth and show you that it just picks that up.
Heliocentric Suicide wants to make another point. He says, thanks, mate. My point is, Wolfie shows drop through a glass window, but the OSD and the RC plane does not show any drop. Only Wolfie's windows.
Look, that's Wolfie showing you that. Let's see what happens when I take. I'm not on about showing drop. What I'm on about showing is, I'm going to level this unit at one place on a sphere, on a spherical surface, but it'll be level 90 degrees parallel, perpendicular from its own centre, and sensing movement, therefore forwards. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I will be travelling, once I set it, nose south, level and flat, I'll be then travelling south down the ball, down a sphere, a physical sphere, mate, where this thing is programmed 90 degree parallel from that first initial spot, one calibration. It then travels down, that's what I showed in my last video, it travels down the sphere, and when I get to my destination, that is a 40 degree angular change. It will register. It should register from that 90 degree initial calibration, a 40 degree angular change. Even if it wasn't sensitive, it'd still pick up 20 degrees of that.
How far do you need to travel to actually get some
I'm going to travel as far as I can go, mate.
No, but if you had a plane, how far would you have to travel?
Well, theoretically, mate, let's say just from here to somewhere near the equator. I'd say, because I'm sure it's about 47 degrees from here, just past south past the equator from the UK.
So between 35
and 47 degrees or something like that.
So what about heading to Spain?
Don't quote me on it. Don't get lob-ons or globers in the chat.
All right. What happens if you was to travel from, say, I don't know, Manchester to Spain?
That's going to be good, like 20 odd degrees, I'd say, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be enough.
50. I want to make it definitive, though. I want to make it undeniable. Do you know what I mean? I go to Australia. if I thought it wasn't a waste of money, and I know, South Africa's adequate, mate. It doesn't, it's 40 degrees. It's almost 50 degrees. I've got 20 degree incline hills near my house, and it shows up perfectly when it's in my car. I was doing it last night, but like I say, my laptop was sliding everywhere. Ended up in the footwell about 10 times. I got frustrated with restarting the video and that, and I thought, right, sod it, I'm going home. Today it was absolutely hammering it down, and I was busy, so it'll be getting done.
They have to decide, is the Earth small enough that a boat goes over the physical horizon, 3 miles, or is it so big that we can't see the curve until you get to outer space? Like, it's getting ridiculous that they use both arguments. It's like either it's small enough that you're going to see a curve and things are hidden by a curve and we should be able to measure that curve pretty easily, or it's not. Like, can't have it both ways.
Adam Meakin
says it's going to pick up. Sorry.
Adam Meakin says the rate of change on a ball would be 0. Right, here we go. So 9/1000th of a degree per kilometre, basically. So you would register something over 100 kilometres. You would get some kind of reading, I would think. If you go to 500 kilometres, you get a pretty good reading. So.
Yeah, but I want to make it definitive, though, and I'm not bothered anyway. Because to be honest, I'll be going on all day to South Africa anyway.
Flights to Spain. Here we go.
Be taking it with me. I'm not going to waste it. I'll be honest with you.
Here we go. Flights to Spain. Prices from £19.
Oh jeez.
Well, that's with the.
Tell you what, then.
I'll
build it. I'll build the unit and that, and sort it all out. You come pick it up, mate. Get the flight, blast over there.
Oh yeah.
Tell me what happens.
Yeah. What, when I arrive in Corona City?
But, hey, listen. Yeah, I was going to say, post that package back to me. Do not breathe in the box. I'm joking, man. I'm not into that stuff. The only Corona I'm into, man, was a slice of lime on Christmas Day. That's it, man.
Jonathan Hobbs asked if I'm in the north, and that would be a yes. I am in the north. I saw an article today.
Sorry, guys, I totally forgot. I was going to come on like this tonight, so everybody was totally interested in what I was saying and totally thought I was serious and everything. And you know, and I came on in my Mancunian broad accent, didn't I? So I totally discredited myself from the off. Silly man. Oh well, back to Kips and
Oh, you
post
sound
eggs for
so
supper
funny
tonight.
when you talk like that. You sound like Jim Panda or
Good
something.
evening, all.
Classic.
5 minutes.
Well, if anyone wants to earn $3,500, right, $3,500, you can get paid to have coronavirus. So the scientists will inject you with it, and they'll perform experiments on you to develop a vaccine. So if you're interested,
What the fuck?
yeah.
You're kidding, aren't you, Auntie?
No, definitely not.
They're actually doing human trials like that.
Well, they're putting an advert out for it for sure. So,
Oh my goodness.
you know.
Well, speaking, if you don't mind me bringing up the topic, Globebusters on their show just this last weekend, yesterday or the day before, whenever it is for you guys, they had a man on talking about viruses and how a virus is like a soap in your body. Your body makes the virus to clean toxins out of your body. Viruses can't be passed from one person to another. They don't have any, they're not alive. They're just protein around your tissues or something. And it was and he was saying as well that it's the 5G that's causing this, not, you know, a virus. Very interesting show. Well worth the watch.
Can you see what?
Yeah, I seen that news thing though on the coronavirus. You know, where you could get one going for $3,500. I rang them up and said, like, can I get 10? And they said, no, sorry, one per customer. But I thought it wasn't worth it.
I'm sharing the link if you want to have a look at that page.
The only way you can get, you know, this kind of thing into your body is to have someone injected into you. So, you know, yeah, of course you're going to get sick if you go and have it injected into you. Wow.
I've actually put it out there. I think Sleeping Warrior should go for this. You know, I mean, it's no worse than the flu, right? You know, I mean, I know that everyone could use an extra $3,500 in the pocket, so you know.
Oh man, them testing places are sinister to death, though. Have you ever seen them stories where people go and like heads swell up to 3 times the size, and they just, oh yeah, but you signed that disclaimer, mate.
Well, that won't matter anyway. To Tony,
burning purple in the bed and that. You don't know what the hell they're doing to you.
Tony's head's already 3 times the size of a normal head.
No.
But yeah, so for $3,500, I mean, so if you're in the UK and you want some extra money and you don't think the coronavirus is that big of an issue, then I mean they're looking for 24 people, so why not go for it? You know.
I'm telling you now, they're going to be sorry they put that in paper, because tomorrow you're going to see a horde of people out there with all the belongings in little plastic bags and sleeping bags and that, and there'll be everyone that wants $3,500.
How frigging stupid would you have to be to take that offer?
You're going to be queuing up at the door.
Oh my goodness, this world is full of lemmings. It really is. They just follow each other off the edge of a cliff. So there's money at the bottom.
You don't know what the hell they're giving to you, like. As I watched something today, do you know that Dee Van is? I'm not too sure if I'm saying that right. Dee Van, like Dee Van H channel. She had something on today about fetuses being in vaccines and that, and it's like it's someone's position. And so, you know, they've got, you know, they're talking about it there, like in a, you know, it's like a pre-court thing, I think, in America. It's like a deposition. I don't know what the hell it is. My missus knows all about it. Mrs. Eartha there, she's obsessed with these depositions. But, yeah, it's one of them. And they're saying it's
if you look into the ingredients, they're what they make, how they actually make the vaccine is horrific.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Have you guys heard of that adrenochrome business?
What's that?
Yeah.
What's it? Sorry, say that again.
You don't know what adrenochrome is?
Adrenochrome.
No.
It's where they torture you. This is what they do those hunting parties and stuff for. They torture you, put you through, you know, immense amounts of pain, and your body produces adrenaline. and then when they kill you at the perfect moment when there's the maximum amount of adrenaline in your body, and then they drink your blood and it gives them a high.
Telling you, mate.
It's like a really
people don't
addictive
understand.
drug.
There's some proper twisted people out there. Mrs. Eartha was watching some video the other day of this twisted guy who he caught in America, and he just looked like some old guy who lived in a cabin, and he made this tape for the women who he captured, explaining what he was going to make. I'm telling you, it made my stomach hurt. I'm not like a queasy type of person, mate. I listened, but I thought, wow, man, this guy is like
sick,
ultra twisted, mate.
Yeah.
And when you realise that people are out there,
as they can, as much fear and pain.
What makes people go insane, mate? Fucking money and power. Once you get that going, your head's gone because you think you own everyone and everything. Once there's certain people who are at a certain point and they literally do own everything and anything. And that's where
it's becoming pretty obvious to me that blood has a huge role in this world. Blood sacrifice, the way they use it for their rituals, the fact that the Bible says Jesus was a blood sacrifice for us. Blood has.
One of my theories on the Bible, it's like every story's got like a trilogy. It's like where they say like the Trinity and that. I'm not a religious person, but I think every story in the Bible has got, it's like a metaphor,
they've got
an
like
analogy,
7 different
and a
layers.
humanization of a celestial observation all rolled into one. And I think one of the metaphors or the analogies of the Jesus is of the awoken man speaking out against the system and how he's persecuted and ridiculed and beaten and shown up in society. And then they used to refer to the world, as in the four corners.
The four corners,
So what did he hang him on to teach everyone? They literally hang this person, this persona, this awoken man who dared to speak against the system. They hang him on the four corners of the world, also known as the cross. But then you could say he was the Son of God, actually, as in the sun, and he walked across the water, as in
the sun walks on the water.
Across the water. There's loads of stuff like, and that's
all
why
of our fairy tales have more than one meaning. Little Red Riding Hood and stuff like that. There are multiple meanings to all of these stories. And if you can think that one level of the story, but you'll find that there'll be half a dozen more that you've got no idea about. And the Bible, I have no doubt, is exactly the same.
That's exactly how the system sort of twists the reality.
That's how they get
what we see with our eyes and the actual
because people just choose
world.
One of them and want to say, I'm right because I know this version, but somebody else is just as equally right knowing a different version. Do you know what I mean? So they get us to fight each other.
Because being right is in the eyes of the beholder, and truth is in the eye of the beholder, mate. It is what it is. Like you're not going to convince someone of anything that they don't want to be convinced of. They'll argue till they're dead against you. Like Wolfie, that's what I'm saying. Is this guy he's an intelligent guy, mate, and his life revolves around all this given information of the grid system, and like I say, he's a pilot, but. When you're a pilot, you've got no freedom of flying. You can't just hop in your plane and go, right, I'm just going to jet off to wherever today. You've got to
exactly.
And
you've got to go where they tell you.
Everything's got to be pre-planned and sanctioned, and you're told where to fly. You don't. There's no freedom. So I do respect his opinion, what he's saying, because his life sort of revolves around it. And when you've learned something in your life for so long like that, and you're militarised, mate, and you're systemised like that, you're going to have a job with anyone. It's like teaching old school, new school, do you know what I mean? It's going to be hard work.
Yeah, that's why it's so difficult for us to get these people to understand, because they have, a way of looking at the world that they think is correct. And because they've been given all the tools they need for the excuses of why things happen the way they do, or why we don't see things happening the way they should, they've got all the excuses worked out, so they just keep it in their head that, well, I know I'm right, so whatever these people say must be wrong. They don't ever bother to actually sit down and think to themselves, can it work this other way? Could it possibly be what the flat earthers are saying?
Yeah, that's it, mate. You get sort of deluded in your own,
Yes.
sense of what's the name, don't you?
Yep.
You can look at
self-importance.
You can look at knowledge as a way of like also being in a relationship. So when you first get in a relationship, you've got that honeymoon period, yeah, where everything.
Good analogy.
Everything's, there's nothing that this person could do wrong. The sun shines out of their arse, and it's the absolute truth. The absolute truth. And it might take,
no one can tell you any different.
Yeah, and it might take years before you actually start thinking, oh, actually, maybe they have got a point. But you'll still stick to the person that you were with, for the most part. But this is the same thing. It's like when you're brought up with something, it's the first thing you learn. And because it's the first thing that you've learned, you tend to sort of like want to keep on to that. You don't want to... Your brain isn't wired to sort of like want to just go and find other things. If you've been told something, you just want to keep that.
Yes, and they know that's how we're wired. They've done enough experiments on the human psyche to know how people are going to react, what they need to do, and this is why
all the
they show you the ball from the first day in school. From the time that you're so young, you don't have that critical thinking ability yet. You just absorb the information they give you. It sets up a foundation that they then in a compartmentalized way, they feed you more information, and you add the information onto your foundation, but you do it in sections so that you never look at the information as a whole.
Well, everything's compartmentalized, isn't it? So that's how they do it.
Keep it separate
together and separate.
They say there's a Coriolis effect. Well, if the Foucault pendulum shows a Coriolis effect, then we would see it underneath a hot air balloon, but we don't. Like when you actually start looking at it as a whole, it starts getting holes in it.
That's it. It's these people who are, like I say, mate, people who are paid, or people get obsessed with things. We're obsessive creatures, mate. People can get obsessed with the slightest of things.
Creatures of habit.
Yeah, that's it. And like I say, my cousin there, he's like amazing with numbers. He's almost obsessed with like mathematics. He's like you ask him to pass you the remote, and he's like mathing it out. It's like the angle of the the 30-degree angle from my eye. He's just like, mate, just fucking pass me the remote, will you? For fuck's sake. He's going crazy, man. He's off on a mad tangent about how the levels, and it's just like, mate, come on. He's like that. But some people are like that, and they get obsessed, mate. And these scientists, they see something, and the numbers just click in the mind, and they go off, mate, and they get obsessed with this shit, and they never. They don't go away from that blackboard writing that equation. They never they never go out, because they could never go, like an equation about, some of the fantastical things about the outer limits of the universe. Like no one can ever go and check on it, but the equations.
Was it Tesla that said they wander off in equation after equation and have no relation to reality?
Yeah, that's it.
And that's exactly what they do. They stand in front of those blackboards and they wander off into a thought experiment that has no relationship to reality whatsoever by the end of it.
You mean George? George Netanyahu, he does that.
Yes.
You know what, mate? You know what? Listen, right? If anyone patronises me or belittles my intelligence or assumes or anything like that, they're gonna get the rude earther. But George,
yeah, that's what annoys me.
He gets special treatment, that guy, mate, because that's what he done, mate. Is low, and he admitted it at that Flat Earth conference. Don't care what anyone says. He admitted that he phoned whatever,
he did admit
whatever the company checked. And you're not telling me he didn't light that up like, oh yeah, I only phoned up and said this, bollocks, mate.
Yeah, bullshit.
Dug in like a little mole,
phoned up to make a mess out of the guy's life.
Don't take us for nuggets, mate, and idiots. We can read you, man, and people like that. Why would you do that in the first instance?
What annoys me is when they insult my intelligence and then have a spelling mistake or something in the thing they've just written, and I'm like, hang on a minute.
No, it's not even that, mate. You know, you can do what you want. I like, come on my channel. I don't care what you say. Say what you be obnoxious as you want, and you'll just get it back. Say what you think,
that's
mate,
what I'm
and I'll
like.
battle it out with you. I'm not just going to run away and
Don't have to
hide.
be a
I'm not going to
snowflake
ban
about it.
comments and that. But if you come on there and you be a snide, you're getting banned. If you say anything just snide with no point to it, you're getting banned. And you know, that's how it is. It's just a debate. Once you start creeping off and sniffing around in people's private lives, like I say,
Yeah, that's too far.
I don't give a flying frig, mate, because you know you're gonna ring my boss, mate. You'd be basically ringing me, and I'll be telling you to, you know, f down the line, quick time, mate. But you know, for some people, and take my cousin for instance. Guy earns like 70 grand a year. If someone went sniffing around and said, "Oh, you know, don't believe in the fucking shit that he's using and all that," and you know, he's on the internet doing this and all that, and he lost his job, mate, and he lost his house and all that, you know, that's a possibility where that guy could go and commit suicide.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
Out of desperation.
Yep.
You know, it doesn't take much to swing some people, and that shit is low. Sorry, sorry if anyone thinks I'm offending George or being nasty to any of these people. That's why. They do it to you in an instant, mate.
Well, George would say that he only phoned up to find out if he had a license. That's what George has said.
Of his,
George would say that though. Why would you phone that?
But what business would it be
anyway?
of George's anyway? Like, you know, this is a guy he doesn't know.
Does George go up to transvestites in the street and lift up the dresses to see if you've got a dick or not?
Yeah,
that's a good analogy
to prove the point.
Yeah,
mate, come here a minute. Oh, fucking sorry, love. You know, handbag round the chops, mate. What's the point? If you're gonna do it to everyone. Don't be a little snide toe rag, mate, because someone's outdone you with fucking a decent brain. You know,
don't double down
on the ball, mate.
Didn't do it or you didn't mean it.
There was nothing he could do about what Brian was saying, mate. So what did he do? Throw fucking sand in his eyes, don't they?
Yep.
And that's how they roll, mate. Don't ever take him. Listen, you take a wounded enemy in your camp and treat him like your brother, and he slit all your bros' throats in the night. Let me tell you.
Yeah, who have you got to blame for doing that? Tie that guy up
and quiz him by all means, but don't invite him in. Don't invite him in the mess hall. Do you know what I mean?
Like Trump's little speech about you knew I was a snake when you took me in.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, they're all snakes.
They're all snakes, mate. All 33s, all of them. They're all in the hood, mate. All of them. The money chain, the money circle. That's it. They're all driven. Ego. That's it. Anyone.
Yeah.
And any like ballers that jump in this, like I say, they've got an agenda like massaging an ego. I mean, you only have to look at some of them and think, mate, you did not make it in life. But you come on here like you're some sort of wizard. You know,
a bit like Sean Hawkins.
People. Jog on, pal. You know what I mean? Being a clown. I've seen a funny video today on a channel called Shills versus Shills. You should go check it out. It's just a giggle. It's so funny.
Yeah, he's funny.
Yeah, it's funny that. I had to give him a little shout out for that because he's got a funny video on there. I can't remember what it's called, but just you'll see what I mean when you go on there more than likely.
Actually, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As the Earth had a good video about Coriolis effect yesterday as well, showing the little thing that they had on the History Channel about the sniper who made the longest distance shot, like a 1.5 mile kill shot, and he was explaining what he had to do to make this shot, and no mention of Coriolis in there whatsoever.
Mate, look, if I can design a plane, a little drone, with a board in it that keeps it level, parallel, flat, straight from that angle. So in other words, if I stay at an altitude on a ball, I'll be rising up towards the sky, won't I? Eventually, it'll be going off. If I can build one of them with my shitty technology, mate, what I can buy off the internet, old internet there, for quids, and make it go 100 and odd miles. I've got a RC control unit there. It's called a 1 watt UHF. You get 100 miles range on it if you get the right antennas going. A Moxon triangle.
But all they do is change the definition of what level means. Level now means parallel to the tangent from the center of the earth. So you level horizontal now means curved.
Yeah, but can't parallel.
I literally heard them saying it on MUK's channel, Ken Pan and them.
But at the end, what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, if I can make something like that, sometimes I speak to people, And they'll say, oh yeah, what do you do? What are your hobbies or whatever? And I'll tell them, and they're like, fucking hell, that's mental. But it's not that. Once you start looking at things, it's not that difficult. Like I say, they over-explain everything. It's like with my mate got a telescope like a couple of months ago, and he's like, oh man, you're gonna have to help me set this telescope up. Like I've started reading the instruction manuals, and it's just like, whoa. I'm like, mate, I'll be round in a bit. I just broke it down, like in the most simplest terms I could, and like I did on that video, and explain it to him, and he's just like, oh, fucking hell, is that it? But the way they talk it up in the books and everything, it's just like, they make it sound like difficult, do you know what I mean, for a novice who's never even looked at the subject. And then when they come onto like YouTube and that, and they see these people talking it up and giving all these longitude, latitudes, and all this, and inclination, right ascension, left ascension, like, whoa, this guy knows his shit. The Earth's a ball, mate. Fuck me. He's talking about this thing. Some people don't even ever, contemplate this shit. They go to work and they sit there open mouthed, mate, just watching EastEnders and that. They don't even think about this stuff. And then you hear it on the internet and you go, who's this fucking number? I'm going to go on and say something. Because I know all about cloak, me. You know what I mean? Been living on it, spinning around for years. So, yeah. Shut the F up, mate, you clown.
What would you say?
Clown, mate.
What would you say to Georgie in the chat who says that we still don't understand reference frames?
Who, George Hatton, flick?
That's the one.
George Hatternick. I have about as much interest in what you say as watching mould grow on a rotting tomato. How does that answer your question?
Reference frames are extremely easy to understand.
You know all about that. Nathan Oakley's had 1 trillion billion shows on it. Reference frames.
Just because they want to...
Shut up, George, you idiot.
...decide that it means something else.
Trying to make yourself relevant.
If something lifts up off the Earth into the air, then the Earth spins underneath it. It's as simple as that.
Exactly.
They want to make it more confusing and say, it's all these other things. It's like, well, no, actually, this is why you hate flat Earth so much, because it is so bloody simple.
Throw 1 million little balls up into the air, you got 1 million little frames of reference on you.
But then we've got some
everyone's
balls
its own little individual movement.
And the Earth will spin under you when you jump. I can't remember who it was, but
no.
said, yeah, if you jump up in the air, the Earth will spin underneath
Right, well,
you.
Don't run too fast one way, will you? Because you'll knock your front teeth out as you hit the ground.
Well, the long jumpers and high jumpers in the Olympics would always want to jump in a certain direction, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I'm telling you, mate. Right, I'm not going till 20 past 3 this afternoon when the spin gets into the right place. I'll limber up for that. Jesus, mate. It's crazy. It's like one way, if you flew on a plane, it'd take you like 5 minutes. And the other way, it'd take you 12 hours to get back. You'd run everywhere.
Yeah, it's ludicrous.
Wouldn't you?
Coriolis would have to be one of the easiest things to understand, the easiest proofs that we're not moving.
Crazy. They come out with some crazy shit. Like the Earth spins under a pendulum but doesn't spin, and a bullet, but doesn't do it under a plane, or doesn't seem to do it under
or a hot air balloon.
It just does it under one thing and that. And then like gravity pulls everything to the ground, but helium balloons go up because why?
Yeah.
Because they're denser than the air. The less dense than the air. Do you know what I mean? It's nothing about gravity there, is it? They are anti-gravity devices. And once you rub them on your hair and they start to catch up, they will take flight. Crazy people, man. Crazy people, wake up, mate. The system's having your pants down. Every direction you go.
Yeah, they're literally being butt-fucked by the system.
They
don't, and they're loving it. They're bending over going, give it to me more, give it to me more. It's like,
mate, it's mad. You've got these
environmental
protesters, yeah. They're going out thinking they're saving the turtles.
Yeah.
Mate, they ain't. They're just saving the MP's pockets, mate. They're going to up your taxes. Yep. They're not going to stop making stuff.
Oh,
No,
but the government
you know,
loves us, Rude. Don't you know? The government
no, that's what they
loves.
think. That is exactly what they
Yeah,
think.
that's exactly
You
what they
don't
think.
realise they'd be the first ones conscripted, mate, and off to get their blown to pieces in the next World War. They wouldn't be
Yeah,
saying,
even though those
oh
two
yeah,
countries
I backed you up
are
though.
keeping a treaty in Antarctica and work together in space and all this other crap. Like if they really, they're either working together or they're not. They don't work
Mate,
together in
everything we
some
get
things
comes
and
from
have
them.
war over other things.
I don't want to insult anyone or upset anyone, mate, but like all the books and everything were all wrote by people, mate. King James V was one of them, mate. You read up about him, and it's it can't be pinpoint proven, but it is thought that he was something to do with Freemasonry. And, you sort of like get into the thing of how far back does this shit go? We don't know. And we're judging everything off the information they've give us over the last sort of 500 years or so. Because really, even if you had like stories from your family's generations and generations, what have been passed down, you still only know a snippet of that history there in comparison to what we're told. And everything we're told, like everything that's rolled out into the public, openly, is definitely sanctioned, mate. There's nothing much gets out there without them sort of knowing about it. They're proper powerful. Been at it for years. But I think, all the stuff that's coming out now, this sort of like awakening type thing where people are getting onto all these coding and sort of like that. Don't know why that's come out, but I've got a feeling there's a couple of
Come out
factions.
because
There's a couple of
they've
factions
let it
that
come
all
out.
know. They all know something about each other, yeah. So they can't grass each other up. So they're trying to sort of snidely grass each other up through, via propaganda and that. And we're just all caught in the middle of it, like the Muppet Show. And they're the ones with all the power. To go to, if you're that Davos meeting.
The what meeting?
The Davos meeting in Switzerland.
Don't think so. Which
So
one's that?
So the Davos meeting is a meeting of these like ultra elite, super elites, and all the world leaders and that go there. All the world leaders that are like influenced by the central banking system. You can look it up. It's called the Davos meeting.
Awesome. So it's like that other one where they go and worship the owl.
Is, and mate, they have like a private Swiss military guard in them and that. They let reporters into a small section of it to look around, but what's said in these talks and I think that's where they roll out these like, look, this is the direction we sort of want to be going now with everything we're doing, and all these people of influence just go, right, cool, yeah. And that's where they say, look, if you change such and such in legislation, we'll make this charitable donation to your party. And oh yes, they don't have to tell us about all that shit, mate, but you can clearly see it goes on. When you see these small towns and a massive Tesco, they've got all these lovely little individual shops, operating for years, and then you see like a massive superstore just get dumped on the doorstep, and everything just dies. All the shops die.
Yep.
What do you think?
It's a bit like a family. If you think about, the mum and dad
superstore's robbed everything.
Life,
now
they don't tell the kids everything. So imagine a mum and dad organising a life where they not only do they not tell the kids anything, but they hate the children.
Exactly. And now this superstore, this super chain, is theoretically connected to the government because they're that in cahoots, mate. They're paying for legislation based around imports and exports. They've got a lot of money going in the system and out of the system, and they have a lot of influence. Do you know what I mean? And I suppose if the government really wanted to, I suppose they could have a lot of influence on them as well. So say if they sort of said, look, if we sort you a bit of that, if we knock you a bit of that donation back off what you sort of said you was going to give us, what you want to do is this favour and hold a few of the items sort of for a few days and just create, because have you seen it when someone rubbernecks in an accident on the motorway and they slow down a little bit, and then 20 miles later, mate, you've got a tailback for like 5 miles. Do you know what I mean? Like sausaged up like a caterpillar from one dickhead slowing down in the fast lane. Well, and then it sort of like takes 10 minutes, 15 minutes to start going back on. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like that.
What do you think of these? You mentioned numerology before, but what do you think about the number 33 that crops up quite a lot? I mean, do you think that's just coincidence?
Right, listen, mate, I've got a tattoo. Yeah, I've got a conspiracy tattoo. I got it a few years ago when I started. I've got a few tattoos, but I got this one especially when I started getting into things. really deeply and started looking into the Masons and the various factions like the Skull and Bones and the Sevens Club and all that type of. There's loads. I've probably forgot more than I've learned, and it'd take me a second to re-jog my memory if I just quickly flick something on a search. Do you know what I mean? But it's so much information. It's just so deep, mate. There's so much of it. This code, this 33, it's just like a tip of an iceberg. I know a couple of Freemasons, and they go in like the gentleman's club and that, and they're like, oh, it's just a club, mate, and they are just low level. So to them, it is a club. It's the higher levels, the money people, the influence people. That's who they move up the ladder, if you like. Same with like Scientology and stuff like that. If you've got money and influence, they want you to come in. But anyone else going in, you just get your hat nailed on. You go in Scientology, mate, and you pay 20 grand to get someone fucking electrocuting your bollocks or something, to get the feet ons to come out of you, and all your lies and the bad shit you've done. You know what I mean? It's crazy, mate.
Pete Shea says 3 + 3 = 8. I have no idea what that means.
Yeah,
yes,
double
if you
back
turn
on
the 3
8,
around,
which is an eternity, innit? But
yeah,
33 has got so many,
match.
Oh, mate, honestly, you could get into... It's basically the highest, the so-called highest rank of the Freemasons, innit? But if you look into the Freemasons, there's so many varying factions and so many different types leading up in the various triangles, mate. And then you look into the symbolisms and all that, and the various sigils of demons and shit, mate. There's so much. You need to know all to connect the dots. Otherwise, it's just useless. Some of it leads to nowhere. And then if you remember, sorry, Paige, I'll let you go now. But if you remember, at a later time, mate, when you search and you remember, oh fucking hell, that left a loose end there, and that connect. Wow, yeah, and then you can sort of double back on it. It's like you really have to look, and the devil's in the detail, mate. That's what they say. The devil's in the details.
Now I've forgotten his name. Pike. The book Morals and Dogma that Albert Pike wrote. It actually says in there that the first 3 degrees of Masonry, which is what that's the grand initiation that's happening right now. They're initiating the masses into the first 3 degrees of Freemasonry. But he even comes out and says that the Mason in those degrees is thinking he understands and, can perceive what's happening. But as you move up in the degrees, you realise everything that you thought you understood in the earlier degrees was actually just a cover, and you learn something different the higher up you go. So,
sorry, can I quickly just say something? Sure. Anyone out there listening, guys, please, see this wizard here, Professor Phil Bell, in the chat. He's going on about taking some Antarctica trip. Listen, this is where I got reference back to my map thing. I don't assign to a map or model. But that map that I look at, I really got my focus pinned on this Urbano Monte 1587 map. I got a video on my channel about it. To me, that is so interesting, where the land is and how much land is on it. And with reference to all the land that we know about, it is in the right places, except for one place, which is Australia. And that's in the outer ring, a cluster of land, which we would describe on a flat AE map as Antarctica, when you put it around the outside edge. But it's not. It's a cluster of different lands, and it's clear that it's different lands. And these, all the places, Africa and South America and that, it's clear where they are, mate. But it's not set out how it is, and there's this mass missing from the middle, and that, I think that holds some sort of key. And that's why they're trying to ridicule these flat maps and all that, because shit that's been on the internet for years like that. They can't just change. They can't just massively change it or pull it, because people are already on it.
It's funny that you should say that. I listened to a video a couple of days ago where they said that when they explored in the north, they found a continent that had never been explored before beyond there.
Yeah, but that's it. Yeah. If you look at Admiral Byrd, mate, he supposedly went beyond.
That wasn't his, though. That wasn't his, though.
No, that was somebody else, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is another exploration, another expedition that found land.
Well, I think when Bird did that, and he come back and he did that initial interview, I think he was sort of shell shocked, and the press sort of used to grab you in the old days, didn't he? It was sort of that was before the sort of massive days where
there was no censorship.
Money influencers, really supposed did not influenced everything, did not got everywhere. It was still independent reporters and that, and he used to grab you and just say, let's have a little talk and everything. So I don't think he'd been fully maybe debriefed and sort of slipped up about this extra land he saw when he flew south of the South Pole. And I got a mad theory on, like, when looking at that map again, something to do with the compasses. The compasses apparently don't work in the south because they're not balanced correctly, or some waffle like that. I'd love to be able to get a compass from Australia, mate, and have it sent here to the UK, actually from Australia and sent here to you. Just have a little play with magnets and that. I know, yeah, but I won't give an address up or anything to get it done, mate. I'm not taking any risks.
Oh,
send it to me.
Yeah. Get it sent over. You can get it sent over.
I was going to say I can either send it to Ranty or I can send it to a post office.
I could even sort Ranty a bit of dollar through the super chat or whatever to sort you out. But I just wanted to get hold of a compass from down your end. You see him on the internet saying it's a south-facing compass and all this, but I would just be interested to get hold of one from down there and just have a look at it in my hand.
The compass doesn't work on anything but a flat plane anyway.
I know that.
It doesn't work on a ball.
I know, but how they explain it is because you're in this southern hemisphere, a northern compass is weighted wrong, so it tilts off and it doesn't get accurate readings and all that. But I just want to see if there's any sort of difference in the way they're charged or anything like that. I don't know. I just want to see it.
Yeah, no worries. I can go and get you one.
But yeah, if you can, mate, and send it to Randy.
Next time I go to town to do my shopping,
I just want to see, mate, because there's so much garbage on the internet. Like I say, my mates spoke to a pilot and worked there and started quizzing him a bit, mate. And his ultimate evidence was toilet water going round the opposite way in Australia, mate. But looking on that map again, back to Australia, on all the other maps, the way it's featured, it's upside down compared to the Urbano Monte map. And it's like I say, it's on the outer ring. And even the what's the place above it called? Just off to the right, like northeast of Australia.
New Zealand.
Is it New Zealand or Indonesia?
Which one?
Let me just
straight
check.
Up is Indonesia, and off to the east side is New Zealand.
Let me just check, mate. Where's that now? Oh no, it's Papua New Guinea, yeah. Papua New Guinea, is it?
Yeah, Papua New Guinea. Yeah.
Yeah, that big island. Well, that is on the outer limit of the Urbano Monte map. And then New Zealand, the way I figure it on this, is further out, even still, beyond Australia. And Australia is actually upside down. Why would they put it upside down when everything else is facing the right way? What we know. It might be slightly distorted, but that's what I'm saying. Down under, upside down. They shove it in your face, don't they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So
do the maps work towards the equator somehow, and then beyond to a next equator? Maybe once you get beyond our equator, is that how it works? I don't know.
So where did you get this map from? Did you buy it?
I got it off Amazon, a print. And the funny thing is, the measurements was 33.5 inches by 33.5 inches, and it was like £32.94 or something, which is almost 33 quid.
All the threes.
But I've got that number tattooed on me. That's what I was saying before. I've got a couple of little representations of all the conspiracies, if you like, and the main bit's flat Earth, obviously. Well, it's like the dome of the flat Earth dome model. Even though I don't assign to a model, it's just like I say, a representation of the conspiracies that we sort of observe.
Well, I'll copy that link. I was just been playing your video, you see, so I'll copy the link and I'll put it in the chat so that people can go across and watch it. It's only a 5-minute video that you're talking about and showing this map. So if people are interested, they've got a direct link to that. Then.
Yeah, I've got loads of plans. What I want to do is, my theory is that central mass, what they've took away there, they've somehow took that away, and then shrunk it on Google Earth. Yeah, but I want us to see if I can figure out how they've done the grid system on it, basically. So I'm going to get myself a massive piece of tracing paper, like to fit it, because it's 33 inches by 33 inches. You think, oh, it doesn't sound big. It's pretty fucking big when it's got a frame around it and that. I went to the guy who framed it. I took it there rolled up in a tube, mate. I fucking give it to this guy and he framed it for me, mate. I got there and I was like, whoa, that's pretty big, isn't it? He's like, yeah, it is a fair size. Like,
what do you think? What do you think Wolfie would say about this then? I mean, obviously he'd have something to say about the map.
He's gonna have something to say. What can we actually prove? I don't know, mate. I'm just saying that these are the options that we got. We've got people working on maps, yeah, and they're quite content with working on the land that's given to us on the Google Earth globe, if you like. Yeah, the presented globe, and that's all the land they work with. But what I'm simply suggesting is, if that's not all the land, yeah, and you're trying to figure out how this fucking sun goes round and everything, or how it works.
Yeah, how are you ever going to
figure it out? That's not all the
out?
land. How are you going to figure it out, mate?
Yeah.
If you don't even know that's more land there, if there is more land than where it is.
They hold up that straw man flat Earth map and go, oh, well, this is your model. How do you explain such and such on this map? And it's like, well, hang on a minute. I don't even know if that's really what
this Urbano Monte map, it's been on the flat Earth circulation for a bit, mate, but no one really talks about it. I mean, Antonio Subrats has spoken about it a little bit, and what's he called?
Yeah, he
Mick
does more map stuff than anyone else, eh?
Yeah, Mick from what's Rebel Without a Pause. He's done a little video on it, but I've actually got this print there, and it's big enough to see the detail. And I've worked out where everywhere is. Like Greenland's not even. Like when you look on our globe, Greenland is like coming down from the centre, from the top, from the North Pole, basically coming down towards the UK. But on this map, it's left. It's going round that centre bit of land. I've displayed it on that video. Any of you want to look? I've tried to make it. That's shit lighting, like, but I've tried to make it as clear as possible and show with the globe as well. To reference where I'm showing. And I think they just took parts of the land out, shrunk it down, and laid a grid system over it, because you can, like I think I've said before, if you was just dropped somewhere with a pencil and paper and you had to stay there for a while, and you sort of you decided, I'm going to really try and find my way around there. So you'd make a rough sketch of a map with big things on it, that you can see sticking out, big land layouts and that. And then you just once you orientate yourself north, you then draw a grid onto that map. And you split it up into sections, and you can navigate around your little map, what you've made, via the things you can see, the big land masses and all type of stuff like that. You get a bit more technical if you want to start using sort of stars and all that type of stuff. But, you can sort of get the general gist. You can get your way around, but your grid will always be square. Like all landmass grids are square. The grids only go curved when you start navigating over an open ground with no reference, which is open water, like flying. Came from the same basis as sailing. It's all based on polarity or things in the sky and the information that's been built up around it. And it's, originally, like I say, you've seen them, you see it on these films and stuff where the cartographer or whatever, he's making these little circles, the map reader, the navigator, and that's because it's all via a circle what they're observing. That's it. They overcomplicate it.
I want to give a shout out to Brandon Toy as well. So if you want some good comedy, and you've seen Brandon Toy in the chat right now, so he's got 125 subscribers. So if you get the opportunity to go on over and subscribe to him, he does some funny stuff. Top end.
I think it's to me, Brandon.
Yeah. He's an awesome flat earther. Awesome. He's he's in everybody's chat, and he supports as well. I think he's a Patreon of mine too, which is ace. So
yeah, guess what? Professor Phil Bell, he's going to India now to work on the next satellite launch. India, the country that supposedly needs aid from the UK, are working on billion pound satellite launches with Professor Phil Bell. Wow, we're honoured, guys, by his presence in the chat. Surely. We've got a rocket scientist. Jenny, when you say something, it's not rocket science. We freaking got one. He's here. Got a rocket scientist.
He's been on the show before. He's done I think one or two presentations in the past, and he wants
Right,
to.
well, I've got a proposal for him, mate. This is an experiment that I want to do, but I can't do it in the UK because we're not allowed to make rocket fuel, are we? We're not allowed to make that solid rocket fuel or anything like that. So I think that would be the best way to do it because it's like self-oxidizing. I think looking into it off the top of my head. But what I'd like to do is make a rocket, radio controlled, because like I said, that guy's done FPV to space 120,000 feet up, and I've got the equipment there. All I have to do is buy a couple more antennas and I'll be able to get that 100 or 80 miles range with the tracker and everything. So I'll be able to send it up on a balloon, a rocket, with radio control and live feed video. And I want to make a balloon. You know that decorator's mylar on it? You'll know about that, won't you? That thin mylar.
Yeah.
Get a bag sealer and make yourself a decent sized balloon, so it'll carry this rocket up with the fuel on and that. Get it all filled up and all that. And once you get so far up, just hit the, just release from the balloon just before it like bursts or gets to its limit, and then bam, open your rocket and see how high you can actually get. And have a decent scope around and just do experiments where we can see stuff like that. Because that to me, that's tangible. It's visible. You can see.
Well, just to be fair, I'll show Professor Phil Bell's channel here. He's got 496 subscribers, and he does put content out. I mean, he's got an awful lot of stuff out there.
I've watched a couple of his things. He's got a beard and that, hasn't he?
Yeah. And
I've seen a couple of his things, like. But I'd like to know what he thinks about my take on these gyroscopes, like these units. I did want to know Toadie's take on him, but we obviously we got off on the wrong foot there because I felt he was patronising trying to belittle my intelligence last time I seen him in the chat, because I obviously said I can't look at the chat when I'm talking, and then when I stopped talking and went in the chat, I seen a few sort of like, sort of smarmy type comments about these gyros. Maybe I took it the wrong way, so I just want to, I apologise for that anyway. But it doesn't make us friends or anything. Obviously my position is known, innit? I can do whatever you like, but
I believe he's coming. I believe he's coming in on Thursday. So he's asked to come on the show this Thursday. So if you're around and you want to have a chat with him about it,
well, I have said to him, I promise I'll be civil for the cause of this journey that we're on of information discovery. But like I say, mate, I've had bad experiences with these type of people. When I first put videos out years ago, when I was wet behind the ears, and I just put I think I seen one of your videos maybe, and thought I'd watched loads of Eric DeBay videos and seen what's his name going out, Dell and all that, and bashing people on the street, which I thought was quite funny at the time. And I thought, right, I'm gonna go get myself on these cameras, what they're all banging on about. And I went and had a look in that, and to me, it was destroyed immediately, mate. Because when you go on the curve calculators and you say, and I live right near, I live near the beach, don't you? Anyway,
yeah.
We go down to the sea, and that sea, I'm not 6 foot, mate. I'm 5'11", and my camera's never been up to my eye level. You know what I mean? It's always been sort of to my chest. So you're talking about 3 foot max, and I've had it lower than that on the sand, and you can see things like 70. I don't care if they're a bit blurred out and that. Like I said, it's at the limit, and there's loads of atmosphere and all those other effects going on. But you can see it. It's there, mate. Soldiers and military vehicles and that, they don't look at a target and go, right, we've got a target here, boys, but it could be 400 meters further away. We just don't know. It might be standard refraction looming. Do you know what I mean? Foam rumpus and get him to get the calculations on the go. We're going to hit this thing or what? Oh, it's there, mate. When you see something, it's there.
So Professor Phil Bell said he wants to have a look at your channel. So I've sent him a link so that he can go on over and see the work that you've been doing.
Professor Phil, if you go into my playlist, it's just the gyro experiment is all the things regarding this little experiment is basically there in that playlist to save you mucking around. And if you run to the bottom of it, because it's all obviously numbered from the start, and it starts from 1. Obviously, you're not going to watch 3-hour videos of just a plane hardly moving to the human eye. Just flick through it, and you'll see you'll understand if you read all the descriptions, and it's all there. You have to read the descriptions because I'm not making videos for like entertainment. When I make them videos, I'm not making them for entertainment. I do voices and that, mate, because I like doing that. I know a lot of different people, man. I picked up actresses over the years. You know what I mean? I've rolled like a stone around a country boy, so I'm you know, I'm a little bit of everything, I suppose. But yeah, and if you be civil with me, I'll be civil with you. But don't, you know, if you come on there with arrogance and that, you're going to be met with the same. That's just how it is. That's how I roll. Rude, 100%. But I'll be a nice rude if you be a nice dude. Okay, so that's how it is.
I need to shout out Darwin as well. So I mean, if you've seen him in the chat, a lot of people say he's a troll. I haven't really seen much trolling from him. So, but I don't really go to many other people's channels at the minute. So maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But he did actually give me a super chat before the actual show started. So thank you very much for the $2 super chat. I do appreciate that.
Mate, I must say, the Widgeon Army is very, 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 very entertaining. I must admit it.
Chris Berry
thoroughly
says,
bloody entertaining.
So I'm going to bring Chris Berry in because he has a question. Here we go. So let's bring him in. So yeah, he's just joined now. There you go, Chris. You all right, pal? Oh, he joined and he left.
Hello.
There we go. He's back.
No, I'm not sharing my bloody video with you, Chris Berry, man. Come on.
Chris, hello. You all right?
Yeah, hey, how's it going?
It's going good, thanks, yeah.
Sorry, I have a cough. I don't know if it's corona or what, but...
Oh, shit, man. You got a mask?
I need a mask on now. He's coming down the microphone.
Right, let me get a Dettol for my phone.
I wish I was kidding. I actually do have a cough. I don't know. I just got it today. I'm not sure what's going on, but either way.
Don't panic.
Do you have 5G where you live?
Well, you know, it's rolling out everywhere, so probably. I'm near Dallas, so probably so.
You smoke bongs
if
down
I was you, I'd have a look and see. Yeah.
So anyways, so I'm not sure. I just started listening and I saw the title, but you know, I was curious because Dave Weiss puts out these videos that show the sun, you know, being viewed from a drone, say 500 feet, or I don't know how high it is, whatever, 300, 500 feet up. And then he gets it to, you know, where it basically dissolves into the atmosphere. Like you can't see it anymore, but it's not because it goes down over the curve. Has everyone seen that video or those videos?
Yeah, the sun fade out.
Like you say, we don't know how the very outer limits of vision. When we look into optics and that, when we're looking at things, it's always about human. You know, when we look at like on the human level, we sort of look at immediate interaction with our eyes and sort of, you know, within 6
so I just
yards. It's not like we never look at the very outer limits of how our eyes perceive things.
Sorry, I don't want you to go on. Sorry, I don't want you to go too long. I just want to broach a question after that. So I just want to make sure everyone's is familiar with that. It sounds like you are. So my question is, if when you're that high and then the sun disappears, but it doesn't go behind the curve, you know, the question is, why did it disappear? There was no horizon. And, you know, the interesting thing is, go ahead.
Because the atmosphere, as the sun moves further away from you, the atmosphere, you're seeing through more and more and more of it. So it's getting thicker and thicker and thicker to the point where there's too much, like looking through a pool, like looking through a whole lot of water. You won't be able to see all the way to the end of the pool. The water will obstruct your vision. And then you've also got, things getting smaller, you know, the angular size things will disappear from just basically getting smaller. Even if you've got a clear day, things as they get further away will get so small that you can't visually see them anymore. So,
well, the thing is, we can't, like, you know, anything on this type of topic is sort of like, you know, philosophical speculation, if you like, because when the sun goes down, when we as the individual see the sun going down, you know, it's approximated to be between 4,000 and 6,000 miles away, is it? So we could never actually prove at that distance, you know, we could never actually prove what we're actually seeing or what is actually happening or how the angle of our eyesight works at that, you know, that type of range.
Well, to be honest, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a high altitude balloon that's ever shown a sunset. So,
Anything that goes further up is going to inevitably see further, yeah, due to perspective, mate, because just that is how it works. If you look at perspective over a linear surface, go and find an artist drawing where they've sectioned it out. You'll see exactly how it works and how the ceiling comes down and the floor goes up.
yeah, but
The sides don't come rolling in.
Was the question, the higher up you go, you don't see that same effect, Chris?
But you do always inevitably see the sun disappearing, don't you?
Well, not from a high. I've never seen like what you call a sunset from a high altitude balloon. I mean, if you can bring me a video up that shows the sun getting close to the horizon, the perceived horizon from a high altitude balloon.
Dwayne Kellum did a nice video. He got some ace videos by. Has everyone seen that channel, Dwayne Kellum?
Yeah, I've seen him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some cool videos of high altitude balloons and stuff. He captured a nice sunset, and he's also captured the sunlight. It almost looks like it's in front of the camera. Have you seen that one? I think it's like video number 14, maybe, and it looks like the sun.
What did you say the guy's name was?
Dwayne Kellum.
Yeah.
Kellum. Okay, I'll have a look.
So, Chris.
Yeah, Ranty. So.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris. Yeah.
I was just going to say, the point. Well, there's a couple points. So the point on the videos that show it fading out is, the only way it can fade out is if it, as Paige said, it's getting further into the atmosphere and you can no longer see it because of all the occlusion and the density of the atmosphere. Well, if you're high enough above the horizon to where it's not horizon blocking it and the sun vanishes in the atmosphere, well, it's obvious that the sun has to be moving away, right? I mean, because I guess they could argue that you're moving away on the ball, but the drone is standing still.
Yeah, I understand.
Oh yes, I understand what you're trying to say. Yeah, they'll just say that as the ball's tilting backwards, the more atmosphere's between you and the sun. But when you think about it being 93 million miles away, why would a little bit of atmosphere have that much effect on a sun that's that far away?
Well, you've got to just
it just doesn't make any
questions
sense.
really. Is why does these balloons, when they go up, why do they come down only a few miles away? Up to 50 miles depending on winds.
Like
whereas where they should, they're up there for hours and hours. Why don't they come down thousands of miles away due to the Earth rotation?
The Earth doesn't move.
Well, it rotates under pendulums apparently.
Well, and then my question is, if that's the argument, which obviously it has to be in these cases where they say, well, the Earth is spinning, and the reason that the stationary drone is also spinning is because the atmosphere is pushing it backwards. Like it's literally moving backwards. My question is, there has to be a way to measure that. I don't know if it's tangential velocity or angular momentum. There has to be a way to measure that motion.
Yeah.
Now that is where I'm getting into the topic, and that is, can we use a gyro or some other device to say, okay, I'm hovering my drone. You're claiming the Earth is spinning, and therefore my drone is spinning with the Earth through the atmosphere.
Well, then
can that be measured?
Then we sort of get onto this. What I'm trying to show with my device, which is, it's quite an advanced drone device. If you look into, like I said before, if you look into Arduino boards, they're actually used in industry, they're like industry level gyro boards, so they're not poor. I mean, an aeroplane gyroscope is inevitably going to be that much, more accurate for the stability because it's got a wider wingspan. So it's a bigger vehicle. It needs that little bit more to detect that subtle movement. Whereas these do detect subtle movement. I showed it with an electronic EQ mount moving at the 15 degrees an hour rotation on one of my videos. I've actually showed that it can pick that amount of movement up. I've then offset it and showed that it can be set, offset to plumb level gravity, supposedly. And this new unit I've got can actually be offset by 90 degrees. It can be offset sideways completely, so it thinks left or right is down. And then I'm going to take that on a flight and see if it registers actual angular change from one position on the physical sphere leveled out at 90 degrees to the next position on the physical sphere. I can't make it any clearer than that to anyone else. Anyone with half a brain who knows about this subject knows exactly what I'm talking about. You sound like you know a bit about this subject as well. So if you go and have a little look at that information there, you'll fully understand what I'm on about. And have a little look at my videos on my channel, my gyro experiment, and you'll see in December when I take this flight, it's going to either prove or disprove something.
Well, Chris has done a fair few videos on Flat Earth and alike. I'm going to post his link in the chat, actually, so if anybody gets the opportunity
do that, because I like to link up all these smaller channels, like, the deep thinkers and the heavy contemplators, mate. They don't really get recognition, and I think that's what they do. What they do when you put decent thoughts out as a small channel, they get onto that fact, like what's happened to me. And I think they somehow put a chokehold on the information to stop it getting out there. If you know what I mean. They take it away from the algorithm because you know you're clearly onto something. So to stunt that information, they stranglehold it, and that's why I've sort of like I don't want any money. Like I said, I don't want the fame. I'm not asked about putting my face on and my name for all those who are inquisitive, mate, because I'm quite happy with my personal life. I just want this information that I've sort of realised in my own mind. I want it out there, so people can see it and go, maybe they'll look at it and go, you know what, this guy knows, he's onto something here. Well, I'm going to follow this, and I'm going to use this information for my own purpose. You know what I mean?
I have no problem. Confirmation. I have no problem shouting out people's channels, and I've shouted out Chris before. Actually, Chris has been on before, and I've helped him get a few extra subscribers before. So it's good when we get this. But this is what we need. We need people subscribing to people that are doing experiments in channels, and Chris Berry has got experiments up here. You can see this on this one here. This is a great little experiment.
I promise I'll check that channel out. And the other geezer who was talking the other night, he was like a gentleman, was defending Toadie, and I totally respect that, like, but I forgot what his freaking name was, and then I seen him in the chat today, so I sort of like subbed him, so I'm going to watch his stuff as well. I've got a little bit of watching to do, but like I say, I'm busy as hell at the minute, and I'm sort of like trying to do my own little experiment, my own things, you know what I mean, and I've obviously got a family and stuff, so it'll have to be in my own time, guys.
Rancy, I hate to claim this kind of conspiracy, but I've been in Flat Earth for 4 years. I've been doing it on YouTube for at least 2.5, maybe longer, and I have like 310 subs. So, and I've been on Non Sequitur twice. I was on Fight the Flat Earth. I've been on Team Septic, like all the big ballers. I've been on all the big Flat Earthers, and I only have just slightly over 300 subs. So it doesn't really make sense. Whoa.
Yeah, mute.
So it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense why my count is so low. I mean, it's not a big deal. I don't really care. I put content out no matter what. But so I appreciate you shouting me out and all that. So
no worries. I'm actually thinking of doing every week or so, putting a list of like the top 15 or so 20 channels that I would like people to go and subscribe to. I could do that on my community settings, because and I'm not the only one that could do that. I mean, all the other bigger channels that are out there that have some kind of following can easily get a channel from 300 subscribers up to 1,000 or 1,500 in just a couple of weeks if they actually put the mind to it. So
there could be like thousands of people out there just like me, doing these experiments, doing things. Every question is relevant. Yeah, don't shut people's questions down. Every question's relevant to the questioner, to the conductor of the question, if you like. Don't belittle people, mate. People might not understand. It's not their fault. It's when someone's proclaiming to understand things that you could never understand and being arrogant about it, and that's when you upset people like me. I can't have that.
The thing is, who's tapping loud there? Is that you, Chris?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
The thing is, in this debate, we've obviously got a lot of different people that have a lot of different ideas, and for some reason, some people have managed to get a lot more subscribers through their ideas, and then other people with other ideas that are equally as good and do as much content and as much work and as hard going, they struggle to get the subscribers. They really, really struggle without anybody sort of like supporting them. And I was kind of lucky in a way, how I went about getting my subscribers. It was all genuine subscribers, not bought or anything like that.
You have done the work for it though.
Yeah, I've put the work in, of course, yeah.
Fair to you. Like, you know, you have gone out and put. I've got the cameras, mate, but then I look outside and I think, go tomorrow. I see the horizon flat as a pancake every single day from my back garden, and I think,
But here's
I'll do it tomorrow.
You're only as
not going anywhere.
You're only as good as your last video, though. That's the way you've got to look at this. And it's like, okay, so a lot of my work was done a year ago.
I'm going to stay on it now. I'm going to keep producing content. Like I've got a few more. Like I say, I've been really busy, like hectic the last couple of days. But
yeah,
I've got a few. You know, I've got a little idea, but then I've got a few little things I want to get off my chest in a couple of more of my little chats that I did. Just general ideas and that what goes through my mind, like about the map and all that type of stuff. Obviously, I want to get the map and see if we can sort of figure out how they've done this grid on this map and get this tracing paper and that. And I've got myself a big compass and all the little utensils that people probably think I don't know how to use. But I've got them all there, and I'm going to try and sort something out and produce some stuff. I'm going to try and keep the content coming, even though I am quite busy. As best as I can in the run up till I take this flight, because it is 100% getting done whether anyone likes it or not, and whatever baffle they want to keep waffling all in between, all the facts are there, like I say, online, and it will prove something either way, mate. If it shows 40 degrees of movement, I'm gonna have to show it, because then I can go back, mate, to watching Star Wars and everything and actually thinking, yeah, we'll be able to do that one day.
We got
Instead of watching it and think this is just pure fantasy, mate. This is just nonsense, drivel, brainwashed. You know what I mean? I used to love all that type of stuff.
Yeah, we've also got the Plain Truth that's joined. I want to shout out him too, because he does. Well, he's doing quite a lot of streams actually. If you look at his amount, I'm sorry that I haven't watched many of them, but honestly, you're doing like what 3 or 4 a day. You're putting
and then a couple of them TPT streams.
Yeah, you're putting a lot of work, putting a lot of time into this.
How's this? Is this any better? I switched microphones. I'm in a different truck and it's really noisy.
Yeah, that's not really any good. Still too loud.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to step out then. I'm not gonna open the mic up.
All right.
It's better. It's better.
I'll probably see you out in some chats anyway. I've been in there a couple of times. I was actually in a Jose, whatever. I don't know how to pronounce his name, whatever. Anyway. Jose Mourinho. I was in his chat the other day. Gonzalez.
Oh yeah.
And, I was going to join it. To be fair, I said to him, I don't join global chats. I know full well his position, mate. I've seen him around over the years. I've been in this shit for a long time. People don't necessarily watch things and make videos every time. I went out and looked into it first. There's no point saying something unless you're sure. And putting it out in public anyway. And telling your mates and all that and suffering the ridicule and then having to go through all the explanations and then for them to have that eureka moment and go, do you know what? You fucking got some valid points there, mate, aren't you? I'm like, yeah. Think on it, mate. These people who give us all this information that we've got, they don't like us. It's just necessary. It's necessary for them to make us progress for their benefit.
You realise he is a flip-flop, don't you? You know he's a flip-flop.
Who?
Jose.
Oh yeah, of course I do. I know exactly who he is, mate.
Yeah. He used to be a flat earther.
Yeah, of course he did, mate.
But apparently,
he's a snake in the grass.
Made flat earth. You got to understand, mate. We don't know. Pete. I do agree with a lot of stuff that Pete says. I do actually agree with his position on quite a lot of stuff. There is a lot of players and actors in this thing, mate. I took a chance with you, Ram, didn't I? But that's only because it was almost like we started and did exactly the same thing at near enough the same time. When Mrs. Earther said, "Oh, have you heard of this Eric DeBay fella?" And I was like, "No." She goes, "Yeah, he reckons the earth's flat." I was like, doubt it, love. Do you know what I mean? I already had my telescope and all that by now, and proper nerd, mate. Star Wars, play No Man's Sky on the PlayStation 4, and you know what I mean, Skyrim and all that type of business, mate. Mate, what are you on about? Watch this video. Come outside having a smoke in my garden, and I looked out and I thought,
well, we got Brandon 6 subscribers. We got Chris Berry 9. And Rude, we got you another 5, so that's pretty cool, I think. Oh no, hang on, wait a minute. You were on. Oh, hang on, wait. No, wait. Were you on 260 or 240?
I don't know. I thought it was on 254 or something this morning.
Oh, it would be 260 then, or something like that. So yeah, you got another 5, so that's all good.
Oh, snap. Nice one, guys.
Plain truth, I've only just put his link out, so I don't think he'll have changed. Should we see if Professor Phil Bell got any? Let's have a look. So he was on 496.
I haven't subbed to him yet, but I will sub to him, like.
Oh, he did. He got an extra
start
sub.
showing his rockets, like, with the camera on the nose and that, all the way from ground to space, and then perhaps explain to us where zero gravity kicks in, at what altitude, seeing as the ISS is only 250 miles up, which is like millimeters on a globe if you look at it.
We got him one subscriber. That's not too bad. He's 3 short of 500. 3 short of 500.
Big Phil. Get in there, Big Phil. He's swinging his lab coat like a pro.
Right, what time is it? I might have an early one tonight.
Mate, school night. I didn't intend staying this long, but I'm going to roll out. Peace to all y'alls.
See you later,
Thanks
mate.
for having me, Ranty.
Nice talking to you, Rude.
Yeah, nice one, guys. Cheers.
So, Chris... Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no. I was going to say, see. So, Chris, is there anything else you want to talk about whilst you're still going?
No, not really. If you sub to me, or even if you didn't, check out my channel. Even if you don't sub, check out the videos. I do have some stuff on there, some tests I've done. You know, I don't have a ton of time, and sometimes it's hard to think about, you know, what exactly to do. So I do try and do things that I think are quote unquote simple, or at least things that I have materials around the house. So check those out. My newest video is a song that I made. I wrote all the music and put in all the audio of the ballers talking, you know, doing double speak and stuff. I thought it was funny. I've gotten a lot of good feedback on it. So listen to that. It's only maybe 2 minutes long.
So So I just wanted to say, because you came in, you was asking a question about sunsets and the like, and the sun disappearing. Do you have any tests or experiments that you're planning on to do with that in the future?
No, I'm not good when it comes to call it astronomical tests. Or, you know, basically I don't do a lot of photography or video. I'll leave that to you and Travis and other people who are better at that than I am. But what I would say, and what I will leave it on, or the question I have is, there has to be a way to measure, and again, I don't know if it would be a tangential speed or angular momentum, tangential velocity or angular momentum, when you're saying that a hovering drone is falling backwards with the Earth due to the atmosphere. There has to be a way to measure that speed, that motion. And as far as I'm aware, it's either never been done or it's just not possible. But you think it would be possible. That to me would be very, very telling, because it just doesn't make any sense. The reason that the sun sets, if you're at a drone, on a drone and you're viewing it, same thing is supposedly because the horizon is getting in the way, but the horizon can only get in the way if the drone is falling backwards with the Earth. So that's where my question is.
We've had Globebusters Bob came in and he said, hang on, let me just get exactly what he said, because I don't want to misquote what he put. Hang on, he said, am I in the Twilight Zone, or did I just see Ranty promoting ballers for subs? Well, to be honest, I showed all the different people that was in this evening as well, and was going to be appearing this week, and Professor Phil Bell's going to be having a chit chat with Rude Earther about gyroscopes on Thursday. So yeah, I showed his channel and I put his link out and said, if you want to go and listen to what Professor Phil's got to say, he's got some videos out there. Go and watch it, if you're interested in that. Along with promoting Chris Berry, The Plain Truth, Brandon Toy, and Rude Earther. Yeah, so no discrimination on this channel. So yeah, go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to say, I got my picture with Bob at the Dallas conference.
I've yet to meet him yet. I've met Mark Sargent. He came over for the Flat Earth meetup that we had. And I met a few other people. No One's Flower, I think.
And me too, Chris.
Oh, yeah. Everyone knows I met you, Travis. Travis was good. He was kind of my babysitter, my host when I went. Because I didn't buy a ticket. I lived very, very close to where the conference was, and just thought, I'd show up, see if I could find anybody that I recognized or knew. So, I think it was the first day I showed up. I kind of was walking around and ran into a bunch of people. And the second day, ran into Travis and walked around with him for a bit. Yeah, so I met Mark Sargent, I met Bob, I met Nathan Thompson, I met George Natchik. Everyone knows crazy old George. Karen, got my picture with Karen. D Marble.
Didn't we talk with Danny Faulkner too?
Oh yeah, that's right. The PhD astrophysicist Danny Faulkner. And I asked him straight up, first of all, asked why he was there, and he kind of gave us an answer. And then I asked if he would let me record our conversation. He wouldn't let me record. So it just kind of went from there. But good times.
So yeah, I'm just playing this video that somebody linked to me in the chat. I think it was Kango, and I'm playing it now. So it's showing a balloon flight. Maybe it's got some kind of, oh, there we go. So we have got the sun in the distance, but it's certainly not setting. The sun doesn't set on these balloons, these high altitude balloons. And thanks for the super chat as well, by the way. Appreciate that. Right, yeah, so I'm not going to be going for much longer now, 5 more minutes, so I'm going to wrap up. So, Chris, is there anything you want to say before we go? And then we'll go to Paige.
No, I don't think so. I'm good, thanks.
No worries, no worries. Paige, anything you want to say?
Just a shout out to Bob. The video that those guys did the other day, their Globebusters on the weekend, was long, but it was packed full of gravy. So, if you want any more information on the virus, if you're worried or whatever, this guy was, he gave some really good points and some really good information. So well worth checking out. I think they talk about that at the first sort of hour or so of the show. So it was brilliant.
And Travis, are you still there, mate?
Yeah, I am. I'm just chuckling to myself because Fight the Flat Earth got back to me. I don't know if you remember in my debate with him where he made the claim about the Verrazano Bridge, which is a suspension bridge in New Jersey. It's the one that connects New Jersey to New York. It is it's less than a mile long, and allegedly it is supposed to deviate from its very top towers, right? Because the Earth is curved. The towers at the base are, of course, 90 degrees perpendicular, of course, but because the Earth is curved, they arc away from each other. And so they had to have that curvature figured in. So Craig just got back to me, said he can't find anything hard and fast, but he said, because what I did was I said, why don't you also look up the information on the Tidings Bridge, which connects one side of Maryland to the other as it crosses the Susquehanna River, and it's over a mile long, so it's longer than the Verrazano Bridge. And he said, oh yeah, they won't have to take curvature into account on that one because it's not a suspension bridge. I'm like, what? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway,
cheers for that, Travis. So yeah, that's the plain truth. So he does, like I say, he does lots of live streams as well. So if you're looking for more content, head on over to him because he's always doing stuff. He's always putting stuff out. So yeah, I'll be back again tomorrow. I'll hopefully get a few more panelists in tomorrow as well. I don't know, that we'll find something to talk about, I'm sure. So thanks everyone for stopping by, and I'll see you all in the next one.